For centuries, knowledge has been hidden in plain sight across the sands of time. Whispers of lost civilizations, cryptic symbols, and forbidden histories have been erased or concealed. What if the truth was never lost, but hidden? Welcome to Eye of Ancient Mysteries, where the past speaks and the future listens. Sit back, open your mind, and prepare to uncover the untold secrets of our world. Let the journey begin now. The miracle of the Virgin of Fatima, or the arrival of star people. On May 13, 1917, in the early spring, 3 local shepherd children, Olcia Santos and her cousins Jacinta and Francisco Mardo, claimed they had been visited several times by an angelic being. These appearances were later attributed by the Roman Catholic Church to the Virgin Mary, now known as Our Lady of Fatima. As word of these events spread, thousands of people flocked to the region to meet the children and to visit the location of the apparitions. It was said that the mysterious visitor had promised a miracle to occur on October 13 of the same year. On that day, more than 80,000 people gathered in Fatima and witnessed what would come to be known as the miracle of the sun, during which a disc-shaped bright object reportedly descended from the sky and flew toward the crowd. The object emitted colorful lights, and witnesses described it as radiating intense heat while hovering just above the people before vanishing into the clouds. Spiritual beliefs and the supernatural. One of the most curious aspects of the Fatima phenomenon is that it was reportedly foretold by a group of psychics. While this doesn't provide a definitive explanation, it highlights how the Fatima events were framed to fit a particular religious interpretation rather than a scientific or earthly one. The Catholic Church traditionally considers predictions by psychics and mediums to be occult or demonic in nature. Naturally, the Church would aim to discredit any claims that psychics had foreseen the event, preferring instead to affirm the apparitions as authentic visions of the Virgin Mary. However, before delving into these prophetic claims, some of which were printed in the Portuguese press months before the event, it's worth understanding the social climate in Portugal at the time. At the beginning of the 20th century, Portugal was predominantly Catholic, but the establishment of the First Portuguese Republic in 1910 ushered in a period of instability and religious persecution. It's also important to note that the shadow of the Inquisition still loomed heavily over European society, with the last execution of a supposed witch occurring as recently as 1826. Beneath Portugal's orthodox religious appearance, spiritualist beliefs persisted and often intertwined with Christianity. This produced a unique blend of pagan and Catholic traditions, with people honoring both types of figures throughout the year, although not always openly. The region around Fatima had a long history of pagan practices. Local folklore includes many tales of fairies and mysterious beings. The rocky, mountainous landscape is similar to that of Ben Bulben in Western Ireland, another place steeped in supernatural lore and home to the so-called gentry, a mystical race believed to be more evolved and sometimes disdainful of humans. Portugal has a similar mythological tradition involving supernatural women called Mura Encantada, believed to be guardians of portals to other dimensions. These beings were also said to control fiery orbs of light, remarkably similar to the glowing disk seen during the Fatima miracle. The Fatima prophecies. Within this climate of religious tradition and social upheaval, a group of Portuguese spiritualists reportedly began receiving messages, or transmissions, that predicted a series of extraordinary events to occur on May 13, 1917. These messages affected the medium so deeply that they documented them in brochures and newspaper articles to ensure future authenticity. According to Felipe Furtado de Mendoza, author of The Ray of Light of Fatima, one such group published a message in the newspaper do Rio de Noticias claiming May 13 would be a day of great happiness when the bright light of the morning star will illuminate the path. Notably, the message was written in mirror script, only readable when held up to a mirror, a phenomenon often observed in spirit communications and channelings from so-called star beings. The original article still exists in the Diario de Noticias archive, dated March 10, 1911, 2 months before the Fatima events began. Another group of psychics in Porto reportedly received similar messages and published them in newspapers like O Primeiro de Janeiro, Jornal de Noticias, and Liberdade. These publications sparked both belief and skepticism, with many eagerly awaiting the promised events of May 13. The miracle of the sun. What happened on that date reverberated around the world then and still fascinates people today. By June, the children reported further encounters with a mysterious being. However, over time, the seemingly supernatural events were reframed significantly from their original presentation. The miracle of the sun is considered one of the most widely witnessed and documented paranormal events in recorded history. Importantly, witnesses did not claim the actual sun moved, but that a bright, disc-shaped object appeared in the sky, flying and emitting intense heat. Interestingly, when asked where the angel came from, the children pointed upward. Throughout the encounters, they said the being never moved its mouth. Instead, its words vibrated around them. Originally, the children described the being as under 3 feet tall and bald. However, under pressure and guidance from the church, their description gradually changed into that of a beautiful lady, more fitting for the image of the Virgin Mary. Cultural and historical context. Many other mystics and spiritual leaders of that era also claimed to receive transmissions from higher beings. Alice Bailey spoke of messages from an advanced civilization in Sirius. Aleister Crowley and Rudolf Steiner received transmissions in 1904 that formed the basis of their most influential works, such as the Book of the Law and Knowledge of the Higher Worlds. Even further back, the Dogon tribe of Mali claimed to have received wisdom from beings originating from Sirius. The Dogon's advanced knowledge of astronomy and quantum principles, documented long before contact with modern science, remains a mystery. Their depictions of amphibian, like gods, the Namo, mirror the ancient Mesopotamian Onas, said to have arrived from the stars and brought civilization. Unanswered questions. Is it possible all these deities and beings originate from the same source, and that their messages evolve depending on human culture and development? Could the star beings of the Hopi, called the Kachinas and said to also hail from Sirius, be the same entities who appeared to the Dogon? One of the Hopi gods who saved their people was called Anu, the same name as the Babylonian sky god. Might the visitors in Fatima be the same messengers who contacted Aleister Crowley and Rudolf Steiner? Or are these just cultural myths? When examining many major religions, Mormonism, the Abrahamic faiths, Buddhism, Hinduism, or shamanistic traditions, we often find a common pattern. The origin point involves contact with beings beyond the human realm, sparking new paradigms of belief. Is this all coincidence, or could there be a far deeper truth?